Welcome back to my stream, and today, like the description states there, essentially I'll just be going over the rebuild of a vehicle in order to resell it, as well as rebuilding a few engines for you guys for possible use in another build later on. And then we'll go ahead and scrap before we get started taking orders. That being orders in the shop for repair of different vehicles that we will be taking. So, with that being said, give me just one moment here, and we will be getting started. All right. So, how's your day, everyone? In here? Don't know why I'm going towards the garage. I always like to go into the garage before I do anything. I don't get it. Really doesn't make much sense. But yeah, so I have a few cars. Now I do have about 2 or 3 vehicles that I do have in my parking garage I have yet to rebuild. However, those vehicles are primarily for my collection. And right now, I'm just looking for a vehicle to purchase, rebuild, and sell. As you could see, I'm a little bit too close to 1 million. I'd like to be about 600,000 away from that mark. So let's see what we could find here. Definitely not a bolt reptilian. Really don't make too much money. We did see that Hamilton earlier on. However, the quality of it was a little bit better than I would like. So just gonna check over here. GT40, that might be worth it. Especially at 1 star if they don't have a Hamilton. As to Hamilton, the last one I purchased for resale, I ended up making about 150, 180,000 profit. So whenever I see those, I like to pick them up. I don't know why I even clicked on that. It's just, I saw it. It appeared to be a Mustang, and obviously that's it, I guess. Saw it and it appeared to be a Mustang, so I naturally had to click on it. So let's go ahead and get this started. I'm not really going to bid anything extraordinary on it. Quite frankly, looking for resale, it's not worth it. And I already have one in my parking garage, so that's what I'd be doing with it. Look at that, 13,000. That's actually not a bad bid for them. Now let's get to business. GT40, 40, 40, 40. The GT40. Oh, that is bare bones, is not it? Hopefully I can get it for 6 grand. The frame is barely there. I mean, just scrapping it for middle would be 6 grand. almost 10. Not bad. I'm guessing we'll probably make a profit. I'm gonna say about 80 on the low end. I'm hoping for more than that, but just in case. Let's say 80. GTR is a nice vehicle, but it's not gonna sell for. I don't even think it would sell for even as much as this Bolt Reptilia, to be honest. Could be wrong though. Big fan of the GTR. GTR is a good car. It's fast, has a good transmission in it. If you're gonna works on the drift track as well as the circuit track, it's a good vehicle. Alright, so let's just get started moving this GT40, if you can call it that, over to the car wash. At the car wash, yeah. And it kind of feels ridiculous vacuuming out this frame, but gotta do it. And I do know, but you see, I had the video playing in the background on my phone just to confirm, everything was working okay. Even though I had the studio up, that does technically confirm that. I like to confirm it a second time. So I had that playing. And that way, if you guys do decide to chat with me, I'll know a lot sooner than I will with the Steam Labs, which is the software we use in the streaming industry to stream videos. Software a lot of us use. You could also use OBD as well as another number of other pieces of software, but most of the people, well, streamers I've spoken to, I've seen all use Steam Labs. So that is what I decided to go with. Actually, funny story, I originally went with OBD Studios, kind of the original Steam Labs. Steam Labs actually built on it, added a few things. But with the OBD, created my own kind of setup for the screen and everything. And then I found out about Steam Labs and how they essentially made a lot of that stuff a simplified version of it, so you can go through and add it in a far more simple fashion than you would be able to do with OBD. I mean, you'd have to do a lot more with OBD Studios to get it to look a certain way and add certain things within your live stream. And so that's when I decided to subscribe to that. It was great. Is great. And hasn't been too bad. But as you can see, we did get all the body parts off. So we've already moved into removing the mechanical parts. And as always, I am starting from the back to the front. And today I may actually be ending the stream a bit early, around 3:30, as I do have some previous engagements that I may have to partake in. A little bit sooner today. A little bit sooner today. Alright, so we got all that off. We can now go ahead and confirm the exhaust manifolds are not on there. We'll go ahead and take this and move it over to the engine lift by pulling it out, give that back, and engine lift. There. So now we could move this on over to the frame. Frame is at 16%. Let's see how much it'll cost to use it. 2,000. Perfect. Brand new again. And it's green. That's interesting. So with that, let's go ahead and confirm there is indeed nothing on this engine block. So we'll go ahead and take that off. And at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and get started by repairing the mechanical parts. I'm going to get started by repairing the mechanical parts in the vehicle, and then we'll move over to the body parts like normal. Before I go ahead and do that, I did want to put the brake disc on this last and get started resurfacing that. So as you can see, we only have about 5 pages, which must be previous parts I've gotten for other orders taken in the shop, as I just tend to take those parts off and put on new ones when they're in a certain condition, so I don't have to worry about spending the time to come over here and repair them. Speeds up the process a lot of the time. I really do wonder how much we're going to get out of this. I think I remember trying to sell one of these before and I never ended up pulling in too much. I mean, I do have one already built in my parking area. We can go ahead and check out and see how much that one's worth. Probably pull in close to, if not the same as that. Depending on how many aftermarkets I put on that, I'm really going to try and focus on putting a lot of those into this build. Get a bigger payout, since that is our end goal. And the engine block is coming up at a V8 Ford. Let's see what else we could put in there. Or what it even has in it. Pretty certain it's a newer engine. I mean, even from the 70s, it would be something newer at this level. Let me see. Yeah, it's only made for one engine, and that is a Ford small block. Seems a little weird, but okay. Oh yeah, can't add that yet. Ford small block, not unless we go in and create it as the engine that came with it, and then it would actually allow us to add it to the list without putting it into the vehicle and taking it out. But since I don't feel like doing that, I just do it this way. And there we go. We got a small block, blah, 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 small block 289. Oh, got some of the aftermarket pistons. Piss to the tons. Gotta get the rest. I'm not gonna have any of those. I already have some of those. Doubt if we'd have any of those either. I want to get that clutch assembly aftermarket. And might as well get an aftermarket power pump. I need to get the arm as well. Alright, so fun. Steering rack. Nope. Concords. Need about 2 of them, but I'm gonna make it 12 for future builds. American ignition coil. Got the camshaft. The flywheel. Let's get the rest of the clutch parts. My clutch. And got the clutch itself as well as the pressure plate. The bearing does not come aftermarket. And pump. Obviously the arm is also not going to be aftermarket part. Well, we should check into that bearing. Clutch release bearing. Get about 20 of those for future builds. There we go. Got the flywheel. Got the clutch plate. Got the clutch pressure plate. And the bearing. Let's go ahead and add those on for aftermarket. That being the headers on each side. And cam gear is never going to be aftermarket. However, the ignition distributor and the little ignition coil that goes inside, as well as the cap, are all aftermarket. Oh, apparently we need new timing chains as well, which are not aftermarket. I believe I already got that arm, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and get the engine heads, 4% each. Not as big as usually, but with a small block engine, you know, you get what you can. Now this is an ignition distributor A, so ignition, ignition, ignition. We're going with A. So ignition distributor rotor is probably going to be the one, since there are no A's in here. And for the cap, we're going to get that generic cap as well. The wires are honestly hard to say. I think this is a V8 OHV engine, so I'm going to hold off on those. I mean, if we knew if it was OHV or V8 in general, we could just get the, you know, right coils for it, but I can't really recall what it was. Makes me curious what the naming conventions of these engines are in RL. Or if it's the DLC is the actual name. I mean, I know small block is an actual engine block in RL, and not a desirable one at that. If you can fit a big block, you know, you gotta go big block. What's the use of a small block? Come on. Come on. Are you not limited by the amount of horsepower you could put in it? Come on. Why do that? I mean, I understand if your engine bay is not that large and you need to fit in an engine that's worth having, then, you know, go small block. But otherwise, just don't see a point in that. Like modern day engines, for instance. We're going to go in there and we like to put V8s and everything. You know, it's important. But some engine bays aren't that large, so you got to go with a fuel efficient. Well, if you need to, a fuel efficient. But V6, which a lot of times could get the same amount of horses in it as most V8s. A modern V6 engine, anyway. Not necessarily back in the day. We're going to get aftermarket rocker arms. And it's actually allowing us to put these weird looking manifolds on before we put it in the engine bay. So that's interesting. That being the exhaust manifold. That literally connects to the other one and then comes out the back of the engine. It's, well, I think that would be the, yeah, that would be the back of the engine. Right above the clutch assembly. And timing chain. Distributor, ignition distributor, cap. Now we need these little clips. Oftentimes I like to forget these clips, which prevents me from moving the vehicle anywhere. Definitely don't do that. It's not cool. It's not cool to be a fool. So, don't be me. I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, know everything IT, but can't stand people at all. Just got no tolerance left in me. So, I gotta get around people more often, but it's like, with this place I'm currently living in, I feel like I go out sometimes, and when I come back, like, shit goes missing. And, you know, it's later on you may find it, but when you find it, it's in a location like you didn't put it in before. So it's like clearly been moved. Or stuff will go missing, like my sleep buds I previously had. I paid like $250 for them. They're the Bose sleep buds. They're supposed to help you sleep at night, drown out a lot of noise with soothing sounds like the ocean waves. When you live in the Midwest, you need to buy audio for that because it's a terrible place to live. But yeah, so those got stolen. First week I lived here, I believe. It was ridiculous. I ended up changing the locks on the house. Cost me about $140, but it continued to happen. So I spoke to my roommate. He claims not to have any knowledge of it, though it seemed like he had knowledge of it. you know, so what are you gonna do? I'm not some mob boss or some kingpin. Can't just, you know, you can't do what the deepest desires of a lot of individuals are in some occasions, such as these. You know, our evolution tells us to do certain things. What can you say? We had to do it before we evolved to this state of civilization. Which, you know, is it really evolution? I feel it's stagnant evolution, if you ask me. I mean, I think we were supposed to evolve past this point, at least technologically, a long, a long time ago, but we were inhibited from doing such due to our lust for wealth and power these emotions provide us with. That's one flaw within the human species, is such a great deal of emotion. Leaves us prone to doing stupid shit. I wish I wasn't. But, humans, you know. Ugh. Can't live with them, can't live without them. Stuck on Earth, some say. Oh, look at that, it doesn't join. Actually, two separate ones. I thought it was joining in the center. It would have been cooler if it did join in the center. You know? Been a lot cooler. And I'm trying to put it on before I purchase it. Wonderful. Oh, carburetor. Need about 4 of those. Exhaust manifold. Need about 1 of those. And I believe I already got those, which I did, but now we'll have some for later. It's a generic wire anyway, so. Well, it's aftermarket, but a generic aftermarket. And what I mean by that is it fits a broader margin of V8 engines than any specialized wire would do, such as the V8 OHV wiring or the V8 HIM wiring. And then a very unique portion of this engine, which you won't see in much, if any, other engines, is the air trumpets. Funniest part I've ever seen in my life. They got little air trumpets in place of air filter. You know, because normally on like a 2-carb engine, you would just put the air filter case and then the filter inside of it in that location. But with these, you have little air trumpets. It's the weirdest thing. I've seen one of these in real life, and it's really like that. Identical, actually. Alright. I will be right back. I gotta take a piss like a racehorse on race day. alternator. And the water pump. Oh, and I'm back. Yeah. So I'll celebrate. You know, I made a YouTube video not too long ago that you guys might want to check out in my video section. Entitled Pimp This Ride. It's actually episode 1 of a series I intend to continue on. Granted, I won't be doing it every week. It will pop up here and there. It's kind of play off of the old show Pimp My Ride back in the day. Might have seen if you grew up in the 90s. Ended up getting shut down though due to a number of reasons, including subpar parts. That's not something I do within my videos. I put in the best parts I could find. Kind of a joke there. That was kind of a joke, but weird sense of humor. Not a lot of people get it. And B. Perfect. So now we can flip the engine and start putting on the caps. And alright, so we could take that off of the engine stand. And we will go ahead and put it back into the vehicle's frame. There we go. And we'll go ahead and lift up the vehicle. And start putting in the mechanical parts. Gearbox. Gonna need to get another one of those. And a specialized fuel tanks, very rarely in engines. Unless they're designed for the track. Such as the Hamilton also has those same tanks. Or the Hammerdell. I always call it Hammerton when it's Hammerdell. Because my neighbors, you know, they're great neighbors. They like to keep me up. You know, as of recently, it's been about 5 to 6 nights a week till like just the other night I flipped out and went outside and told them that some people have to sleep at night and to stop slamming their doors. So they did stop that at least. That was a plus. They act insane sometimes. And this was at 4 a.m. in the morning, if you can believe that. 4 a.m. in the morning, you're just casually slamming your door. It's like, have you no considerance for anybody around you? It's like nobody does anymore. It's like default trash. It's like they default to trash mode. Time to do trash shit. Like the neighbors directly, what is it, east of me, they're really bad. They have a kid that they let do up. See, my phone just unmuted itself. I'm sure it's that little child right now. Right directly to the east. It's a new house, actually. It was built where an old house stayed abandoned for a number of years. But it's a nice house. Just the people don't need to be in there. I mean, their child likes to harass people like day and night, like all the time, just saying all kinds of terrible stuff. And they're aware of it, but they let it happen. So I went up there just the other day to try and speak to them, and they want to act like they don't speak English while I'm running a business in their front, living area. Well, at least that's what it looked like. I can't say for certain, but it did appear that way. Then they want to spread rumors around town like I wasn't born and raised here, and say I'm a bunch of stuff that clearly am not. Like, I haven't worked my entire life helping everybody around me. It's kind of redundant. Like, here's a man that's every career he's had, he's helped people. Like, done everything to help people. Then we're gonna say he's the polar opposite. Like, sorry, that doesn't make any sense. Bye. To anybody that ever knew me. On any real basis, which isn't many people because you can't trust them. You can't trust them. Oh, wishbone shock. Shouldn't need to buy those. We actually got a few of those in the inventory there. The gearbox we will buy custom so as to allow the customer the ability to adjust the gear ratios later on if they need be. Get a few of those because recently I've been working with a lot of vehicles, mainly the smaller engines with the inversion on the angle that require those axles. So figure purchase a few. And I said I figure purchase a few, and that way I don't have to worry about it in the future. Sorry, a little bit frustrated. Noticeably, I guess. Oh, let me go ahead and add that. And we'll add that as well. I doubt if we have... Oh, we do have front sway bars. Look at that. Must have got those in inventory not too long ago. Because I don't normally carry them. here. To ventilator. Oh, I thought you can get the steering rack aftermarket. Well, in either case, we got 3.5 and 3.5. I'm going to see if the B style works. We need two of them on the front here. Oh, did I get the... I already got the ones in the back, so let's go ahead and replace those as well. Kind of want to have that braking power, given this is designed for the track. That is important. Two of those as well. And there we go. There we go. Oh, need to separate them first. The three that we have. And we'll separate these as well. GT4015. Pretty certain I have some of those in my warehouse. GT40. GT40. Alright, let me check this way. GT. Nope, just a Mustang GT there. I could have swore I had some GT40s. Maybe I used them already. Vintage tire B. We got 1560 265. 1560 265. It's the first time seeing a tire that wide in a while. And we got a 1563 15. Even wider. And two. There. And the rim, we will need to purchase one of those. Or was it two? No, I had 3 of them repairables. Should be good on one. Go ahead and install those. You don't have the necessary. Got the wrong size. Go ahead and put that in the warehouse. Got the 12 there. And 15. Oh yes, 15. Put this real one on here while we're waiting. Might help if I balanced it, right? It's the second time I've ever done that. When I did pimp this ride, I was very exhausted. And quite honestly, it did not require too much editing. For as long of a video it was, it really was minimal. I mean, usually what I like to do is put in music over the putting the vehicle together, as I figure if you want to see that, you could either slow down the video or watch one of my live streams. But on that one, I really didn't do that, figuring one, it wouldn't be as long as it turned out, and two, you know, everybody's going to want to see it since you're pimping a thy ride. But yeah, even though it still didn't require too much editing, I was happy to see. Just came out really well. Didn't make too many slip-ups, which I don't in general. It's just with those longer videos, like I said, I will usually put music in there, and that takes some doing. Sometimes. There's a few things you have to do sometimes to get that in there. As well as other things. It's a big process. But you always want it to come off right. Let's see. I'm just going to go ahead and put together the engine compartment before we put together the body this time, as putting the clamshell back on the back is actually going to cover up the engine, which we need to access in order to put the engine components in, such as this here steering reservoir and this radiator A. Surprisingly, this build only has one. We'll also need those radiator fans. Since it's a radiator A, it's going to be fans that are, let me see, we got B's. B, fan. Guess I'll just be one of these. Again, not an OHV engine, so it'll just be a V8 Ford. We'll get like 4 of those for later builds. Or at least I thought. Apparently it's B1 and 2. It would have made sense if it was a 4. No. You know, everything checked off. Coolant reservoir and brake start out. Coolant reservoir. There we go. Let's go ahead and fill the fluid real quick while we have access to the engine bays. Bays, I say, because the engine's in the back. They have a lot of the stuff that would normally go in the conventional engine bay, but they couldn't put it in the back because, as you could see, windshield washer reservoir would be better in the front, given the lines would be shorter to the windshield if you put it in the front. And the coolant would have to go in the front because the radiator is also in the front in order to get the air coming into the front of the engine. You know, taking advantage of that to cool the engine itself. And the brake reservoirs in the front because every engine ever built, it's in the front. Don't ask me why. Well, every vehicle, I should say. It's technically not a part of the engine at all, but part of the braking system, if anything. And the steering reservoirs in the back. I really don't know why they built it that way. I mean, it would make sense if it was in the front because the lines could be shorter, as you do steering in the front, and not in the back. Since this isn't a 4x4, all 4 wheels are not steering. It's kind of weird. In fact, it predates that by approximately 20 years. Alright, so we got all the fluids in, and we will go ahead and get that chrome shell. Gonna have to get a door too. Gonna have to get a front chrome shell. Windshield. Gonna repair that. Should have done that already. Okay, that was the right door. I'm gonna come over here, see if I could find any GT40. Or as we got the front chrome shell, we'll take that. Oh, don't know why I did it that way. And right door. Alright, so we will need to add those headlights. Already gonna buy pretty much everything else, so don't really need to add it. gonna start by going to the aftermarket. Don't have any of those because it was built in the 70s for one reason. In one race, technically, to take on the Ferrari. And after that, they built many cars and went against each other many times, and still do so till this day. The engineers like to battle, I guess. Alright, let's see what we can get on here. Tail light, license, front door. I should have that. Windshield. Lights. Rear window. Alright. So it is looking good. See about moving it out to the front in order to get the interior seats removed. There you go. No. When we take it to the paint shop, I think we will. Not gonna worry about the hood, because this is, you know, it's kind of a fancier race car, so I like to treat it as such. Show it the respect it deserves. Blue kind of looked good on it. So did gray. And white. I think I'm going to go with blue. And paint. So we'll go ahead and move it back over to that list and get that tint. Just get a light tint for the track, you know. Keep the sun out of their eyes, even without the glasses. And we will move it over to the dyno. Engine cannot be started. What did I miss now? do 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 do. Got that. And I know. The ECU as well as the fuse boxes. I always miss the fuse boxes with this one. Always. Whenever I get a GT40, I remind myself to forget the fuse boxes. As if it's important, like it's something we should check off. Thankfully, fuse box is a part I could put back in while on the dyno. That's something I need a lift for. Gonna need to get those fuses. I'll just get 10 of them so as not to clutter up the inventory. And gonna need to get a fuse cover. Alright, let me see. Got that one. I'm trying to find the ECU and the second fuse box. Second fuse box is usually in the front. ECU's usually on the side over here in the back. I think this actually predates the ECU, which is why you can't use an OBD scanner on it. And maybe it doesn't have a second fuse box in this one, but it most certainly needs a fuel pump, which we could also put on here. Now let's go ahead and put that rear clamshell back on. And let's see if we can get it started. We're good to go. We'll go ahead and get it started. Alright, so you can see we started out with 335 horsepower, 5,730 RPM, 332 foot-pounds of torque, 4,730 RPM, and the measured power came out to be 550 horsepower at 6,335 RPM, 528 foot-pounds of torque at 4,830 RPM, for a gain of 65% on the horsepower, 59% on the torque, making it an additional 215 horsepower and 196 foot-pounds of torque. Drag rating A408. So, there's that. Now, we're just going to go ahead and move it on over to the front, and we're going to pull out that camera. We're going to take a good picture of this one, and we're going to close out of it. Alright, so I guess it's time to check this. So the body's 93%, frame's 100, parts 100, interior is 100. Let's see. Missing a rear license plate. That would affect the body, but not by 7%, I wouldn't think. So let me see. Turns out it is 7%. Is that ratio factual, you ask? I mean, for that we would have to account for all the body parts that we put on the vehicle, and then we would have to do an algebraic equation to find out what the percentage would break down to. And that is not something I'm going to be doing today. So, with that, we have the parts value of 41,277 credits, the body value of 32,667 credits, performance parts value of 55,412 credits, condition bonus of 40,306 credits, at a buy price of 9,859 credits. We're going to sell it for 169,662 credits, making the total profit 159,803. Just a little bit over the approximation I did when purchasing it. Good amount though, not bad, not bad at all. I'll be purchasing more of them. And sell. That puts us at 1.2 million in-game credits, obviously. Let me see if I have any batteries in there I need to charge. Look at that, we had one. Now we'll put that in there, and I'm gonna go ahead and take these brake discs off and that one. Or resurface that one. I don't know why they call this a lab. Maybe it's actually called a lab in real life. And if it is, that makes you wonder if that's a prefix within another language such as Greek or Italian, which we often find in the English language, for resurfacing tool. Of course, they didn't have resurfacing tools when those languages were originally created. So, you know, maybe resurface. But did they resurface? That is that question. Anyways. Let's go over here. We're going to go ahead and scrap those parts like I promised you earlier. Looks like the lowest we have is 95. We have about 12 pages, so not too much parts to scrap. Thankfully, because this is kind of a boring part to walk you guys through. Half the time I end up cutting it out because I know nobody wants to see it. At least I feel that way. I don't know if you guys actually do enjoy it. Please feel free to comment below if you do or don't. Love to hear from you. Alright, so that's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Oh, not 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Alright, salvage those parts. So now, how about we take that battery off of there, we take that brake disc off of there, and we go ahead and see what kind of engines I actually have to see about putting one together. So for that, we're going to have to look into the engine blocks. So I'm just going to go engine block. Oh, we got 12, 14B here. Might use that one. 2 13s, 16, 14s. Alright, let's start with the 14B. So in order to do that, we'll create engine, 14 dual overhead cam. I don't know that that uses a 14B, but I could only assume as much. Quite honestly, I assume the 14B would be reserved for single overhead cam, but it doesn't have any differentiation between that I know of. But let's give it a try. Let's go with the 14 dual overhead cam BFM, because that's one of my favorite engines. Yeah, that's a 14B, so that'll work. And we'll get that 14 crankshaft. Just have so many engine blocks, I figure we might as well utilize them for future builds. That way, number one, it cuts down on the time it takes to build said engine. And number two, I don't have to worry about purchasing a new engine block. Might be nice if I added the alternator in there, right? As well as the crankshaft that I actually needed. Oh, crankshaft. We can get here. The alternator I want to get aftermarket. As I'm assuming on these future builds, I may be trying to sell the vehicles. So I'm going to put that in there. Aftermarket along with the clutch assembly. And see, I should have 4 of those left over. Yeah, I do. Quite a bit more than 4, actually. 14B. And we can go to clutch. Get the rest of the clutch assembly. Alternator, got that. Flywheel, engine head, head of the engine, intake manifold, camshaft. Get a few of those for future builds. And get this also. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and, yeah, tripping. For a second there I went blank. You can tell I'm not getting too much sleep. Usually when I make these engines, I'm making them for a build I'm currently working on. I went in there anticipating to see a vehicle and I'm like, where is it? Here, and while we have the engine, here we go. There we go. Dean will go over here, and we got that BHM. Two of those builds, this one being the best, I think. Alright, so now that we got that with the BFM, let's check this one, see if we have an engine block for that. Nope. That one would require a 14B as well. Let's see about this one. There we go. We got enough to build 2 of these. We'll get about 3 of these for future builds, as I am planning on building that other one after this. It'll leave us with 1 more for any future 14 build. No, that was my bad. While we flywheel. We will want to build it with an aftermarket clutch assembly. So we'll get 2 of those and 2 of each of these. Honestly, I think with this next engine build, instead of building the exact same engine, I'm going to go with another 14 that uses the same engine block, as I don't get too many vehicles that need that particular one. Especially not recently, given I have almost, if not already, purchased all the 4-cylinder vehicles I'm going to purchase for the most part, as I filled out my garage with all the ones that I want. And you can't really flip a 4-cylinder motor vehicle for as much profit as you would be with any other bigger engine. So doesn't make sense to do that. If you feel differently, please feel free to comment in the comments below. I would be interested to hear your take on it. Now, fuel rail. And we should have some of these left over. Always and forever. Spark plugs are not going out of style anytime soon. Even with the new conventions that California is putting on their motor vehicle laws, starting this year, I believe, with the EM vehicles. If you're not familiar with it, you should Google it. It's a pretty big deal. Probably some of the reason that a lot of people are moving out. Another interesting tidbit, NASA or Elon, one of the two, originally stated that they were supposed to be going to the moon this year, I believe, or at least by 2027. NASA's trying to get to the moon. Elon's currently talking about Mars, though I think it's foolish to go to Mars prior to setting up a colony on the moon in order to build the transportation devices that we could utilize from the moon to go not only to Mars, but to other further out planetary bodies. And maybe one day Mercury too. But we will need some pretty heavy heat shielding to do that. Funny thing is, recently they've released a probe that came the closest we've ever come to the sun's surface. And we're able to send back imagery for quite some time before it burned up in the sun. Oh, that was kind of cool. Oh, just a heads up, if you do have a spacecraft that would allow me to get off of this miserable planet and go into interstellar space to find another planet that is habitable by my species and offers plentiful fruit and vegetables growing, and or the ability to grow said fruits and vegetables, you know, I may be interested in setting up that colony. Just putting it out there, you know. Like maybe you work with Tesla, you know, and you're like, we need a new Martian colony, you know. I don't know. You know. No, obviously the funding would have to be included with this, but I'm assuming that wouldn't be a problem. And if there are any good engineers out there, I'd love to talk to you about, uh, we'll call it a theory I have, in regards to a certain type of drive that I will not say over live stream. That theorized could be a possibility for a faster form of space travel. I do not believe it's come up in mainstream for reasons I will not divulge on this stream or in general to anyone ever, but yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. Preferably, you know, well, never mind. Just want to make sure I don't have any more parts I need to repair. But alright, so we finish that one. We'll go ahead and put that one in there. And let's get that last 14 created. So we got this far, we couldn't do that. Got the dual overhead, we just did that one. Let's see if we could make this one with the 14. Yep, that is a go. Should go a lot quicker since we've already purchased a few of those parts. Not including the crankshaft or the oil filter for some odd reason. Crankshaft we cannot get aftermarket. Might as well get one of those. Gonna need it later. And that. And about 2 more of those. my love. Oh, never mind. I was almost gonna sing a song, but then I recalled it to be copyrighted. I need to contact the creator of it. I kind of want to include it on one of my YouTube videos, but I don't know if it would fit the mood. Sure, I can get a hold of him. Just, when we're doing it, I'm not really certain I even want to be honest. If anybody, I'd probably like to speak with Seiko on one of his electronic beat songs. I'll dig his shit, and I want to see him big. We got too much bad music playing on the radio, you know? There was one song that he was advertising for everybody to put into their videos on stream not too long ago, but didn't end up doing it because once again I didn't think the feel for it was right on this. Maybe like an exterior song when you're leaving from the show. Or the stream as it is. Alright, got that one. Let's go ahead and put that one in there. And we'll see what other engine blocks we have. What time are we at? Don't really want to start working on the orders quite yet. Got a Ford V8 and a Ford V8. Let's see if we can build one that requires a Ford V8. Ford Boss 4x4. Let's try the Boss. The Boss. Everybody's a fan of that engine. Well, can't build that one. And if we can't build that one, I doubt if we're going to be able to build the Ford Boss rear-wheel drive engine. We'll try the Ford V8. Yeah, I don't really want to do the Coyote because it's so rare, but I think that's the only one that's going to use that block. Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and build that up anyway. Look at that, we got a Coyote crankshaft randomly laying around there. Now the Coyote has a lot of specialized parts to it, so I anticipate having to buy a lot. Starting with the headers and the clutch assembly. We got 6% increase per header, making it 12 overall. Clutch, flywheel. Thought I already purchased that. Oh, that's a different one. Oops. Guess I didn't get B. Already had those in storage. Not all of them, unfortunately. Well, might as well get 2 more of those. We're gonna have to build another one of these at some time in the future. Probably not today, but some point. Oh, we'll also get 30 of these. Should have gotten more of those. We'll get 4 of these. And 4 of those. Why did I not get that yet? Or that? Like, seriously? let's go ahead and put it in there. And let's go ahead and create another one of those Ford engines. Let's see if this one works. Good. We can build 2 more of those. That was ignition A, so we'll go with that. Buy 2 of those actually, and 2 of these. That's what I was thinking. like I selected the crankshaft instead of the arm. Alright, so I'm just gonna step away for a moment. I will be right back. Alright, now I'm back. Honestly, I think in those matters you could even just fast forward your stream to live and skip over the little time I step away, given the delay, but probably wouldn't be able to because of the delay involved in, I imagine, transcoding, or, well, not transcoding, but configuring the video files, which would be why they have that delay. Kind of a translation time frame, I guess. No, I said I would be stepping away sooner today, but I decided to stay. Figure I could reschedule my previously scheduled things I had to do. Engagements, I should say. Alright, rod cap and oil pan time. Alright, so we can go ahead and remove this engine from the engine stand and put it in here. If we go over here, see we're building up quite a collection of engines. Fully built and ready to go. With that, let's go ahead and salvage some parts, see if we have any more parts to salvage, which I don't think we do. We do not. And check out here just to make sure we don't have any vehicles. Alright, check on these orders. This one's got 18 seconds. We'll go ahead and take that. Move that to A. And we'll... Oh no, we got 34 on this. Take that and move that to B. What do we have? General running gear repair. Knocking sounds coming from the suspension. Car is hard to control. Brake performance and repair body damage. Hey, the servo looks good. We got a cap out on the front shock absorber. And caliber on the passenger side front tire. We'll go ahead and put it on the list here. Looks like we're also going to have to replace that rotor and brake pad. And sway bar end link. ABS pump. We're gonna need to replace that. Let's check out these bushings. Make sure they're alright, as they seem to be. So, let's separate that. Take that. And go over here. Shock absorber itself should be doable at 63. Spring should also be doable at 72. Just gonna need a new cap. And should already have that sway bar in link in stock. So that should take care of the front. Wheel hub bearing needs replaced on this one along with the caliper. And more than likely a bushing in the upper suspension arm, but that's not certain yet. Rear shock absorber cap on the driver's side needs replaced. Also need that rotor replaced. Caliper and the brake pad seem to be okay. After a while, you could just kind of see it. See if a part needs to be replaced by the condition. Like a cinch you develop. This one we're going to be taking down entirely. Did I need to? I don't think I need to replace that brake disc. I believe that one was okay. 68. And 72. I think the caliber, right? Alright, way too many of those. Yeah, the caliber was that. As well as the wheel hub bearing. And let's check this one for braking issues as well. Brake pad, caliber, and disc seem to check out. So does the wheel hub bearing. Hard to control's resolved. Still got some noise coming from the suspension though. And the running gear issue. Noise coming from the suspension. Outer tie rod and inner tie rod seem alright. Let's go back here. Did I? Oh. I I still haven't replaced that cap yet. That's the problem. Alright, let's take that off. And what did I just see but a bad bushing in that upper suspension arm? Look at that, 10%. So we'll go ahead and replace that with a new one. Well, again, we could take that. We're just gonna go with that double wishbone rear, I believe is what it was. But not new. We could still use that part. And we could still use the spring. Or we'll just replace the cab. And we are good to reinstall. Let's check on those. Oh, gear issues resolved. Just have that pump to replace for the braking issues, and we can continue to the body parts. While this is coming down, let me take a look over here. Braking system, loud when accelerating, body parts, and tuning. Brake servo's good. So it'll just be an independent brake issue here. For that, we'll put it on the left. And let's get that pump replaced. And see what body parts we have to replace. Front bumper, front right door window, and left and yeah, just the left headlight. Front bumper. Left headlight. However, we're supposed to get that out. Front right door window. Let's see here. I'm not certain, but there we go. Over front right door window, left tail light, rear bumper, and rear clamshell. Bumper and left tail light. Rear. Right side mirror and windshield. And windshield. Now we'll go ahead and repair the parts we can. We'll put those back on. Windshield's not repairable. Arizo. Arizo. Oof. There we go. So we already got the front and the rear bumpers. Don't need any of those. And all we have is the door. So not gonna be able to do that. But what we can do is come over here and get the tail light replaced, which apparently is an aftermarket. We'll get that and headlight, and we could replace the glass over here. Oh, and there we go. Finish. For 27,878 on that repair. Not bad. This one has brake issues, so we'll start with this caliber up. The rotor and the brake pad. I'll put on a new rotor and a brake pad and the caliber back on. Along with the cylinder. Try to put on the one it came with, but not always right on that. In either case, if it's used, I put on a used. If it's new, I put on a new. What else was it? Loud acceleration, body parts, and tuning. Alright, so that's easy enough. We already know where to look. Directly at the exhaust. After we get the brake issue resolved. Can't really see through there. Let's move to the other front here. Check that first. Can't see through that either. Well then. Oh, no, that caliber looks like it needs replaced. Or no, that's the rotor. Either way, need to replace it. So removal was a must. Now put everything back on. Caliper. Hopefully we already have the brake drum. I'll get about 6 of these. A lot of the orders call for older vehicle repair, as one would expect. So having those cylinders in my inventory does come in handy. Is that all the brake? Yep, all the brake problems. Now we can get to replacing this rear muffler, which I will have to purchase. Now we just have body parts and tuning, so let's see what body parts need to be replaced. I'm gonna guess that hood is one of them. And the right side mirror, 2. Probably that headlight too. Front bumper, hood's already done. Left body window A and right headlight. Left body window A. And probably the left door too. Right side mirror, already done. Windshield. Windshield was at 60. Really surprised that needed to be replaced. But, what's this? Zep. Higher. Sounds German. Zep. Higher. That's one of those words you get in trouble for these days, without even knowing the definition of it. Windshield. Did I already get that? Just in case. Yep, already got it. I have to put that in storage when the next one comes in. Alright, so now we have the 9 to 10% tuning. Oh, we got that manifold there as well as the carburetor. That looks like a good place to start at least. and 2%. 3 and 2 is gonna make 5. Got about 4 to go. So I don't necessarily want to work on the tuning. Let me check on the aftermarket fuel pump. That's 1.5. Oof. Not super excited about this. Better yet, let me check this. Yeah, that's not gonna do it either. And I doubt if these are even in the aftermarket section. How about this? Perfect. That's 6 and 9. Finished for 4,541 credits. So you got time enough for about 2 more, I'd say. Well, let's get it. Let's get it. About 2 seconds on it. Had to grab that one real quick. And 11 seconds. 8 on this. Go ahead and pull that. Nowhere to be. Alright, what do we have here? Lack of engine power. The suspension feels loose. Finding running gear problems. Loud sound coming from the suspension. And I'm just going to step away for 1 moment. And I'll be right back with you guys. Sorry about that. Thought I heard a knock at the door. I was wrong. There was no knock at the door. There was just somebody getting into their vehicle. Or broken down looking vehicle. But see here. Need a new cap there. And suspension arm. ECU as well, it looks like. Outer tie rod. And we'll get that new cap put on. I don't see any wheel hub problems here, so should be able to put that tire back on without having to worry about anything if it wasn't a running gear problem, which it could still be within the gearbox I'm referring to. Let me check out the front of the engine. They'll usually give that away, but yeah, this one has that cover blocking it. Still could be in the gearbox. So let's get this rear suspension arm replaced, and we'll see if they're counting that as a gear problem. Count the oddest things. 70%. I'll just go ahead and replace that for them with the new one of these. Go. I think that'll probably solve the gear problem as well. Looks like a Fram oil filter. I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying it appears like one. I'm sure it's not. Lack of engine power and coolant and windshield oil. I'm gonna guess the lack of engine power is probably coming from the timing area. So it's either that or maybe that, but that looks like it's in good shape. Yeah, let's go ahead and check out the timing area. Take out the belt and the idle roll. Crankshaft. crankshaft pulley. And oof, looks like this one's gonna be a pain. Now the belt's good. Gears look good. At least those ones. And the crankshaft is good. So nothing wrong there. Before tearing apart the engine, I'm just going to go ahead and put these parts back on. And I'm going to run a compression test, which should tell us exactly what's wrong. Oh, wait. We gotta replace the ECU, don't we? See if we have another one in inventory. Looks like we don't, so we'll go ahead and purchase one. Electronics, no. I am not. Oh, that was only one of the problems affecting the engine power. So we'll go ahead and run that. Nothing there. What kind of vehicle is this? Should be able to run the OBD, though I don't think it's going to come back with anything we don't already know. Ignition coil. There's something. And since that's only one thing, yeah, let's go ahead and check out the electric meter for the fuses. Fuses are good. Ignition coil, we're gonna need to pull the fuel rail. And we can replace that. Rather not put one aftermarket in there. Put that fuel rail back in, get the engine cover back on. We are still missing one of them. Okay. I was pretty certain the other ones were good, but I guess I could be wrong. Yeah. That one was 7%, so there you go. I don't think I've ever seen an engine where the fuel rail was right in the center, in between the cover. That is a interesting design. Now, other tags, coolant and windshield fluid. We could go ahead and drain that coolant. And drain the windshield fluid. And then we'll go ahead and fill the washer fluid. can click finish. I'll be 1.8. Not bad. And the engine has no power. Timing needs replacement. Change of oil. Fix all engine problems and cannot start. Battery's at 47. Should be good. Enough to start, but yeah, I mean, it should be good enough to start. Let's go ahead and run that electric meter to check on the fuses, but I'm pretty certain it's that fuel pump back there, and it looks like the starter's out. So those two would do it. Starters accessible from we'll go ahead and replace that. Oh. And the fuel pump. That should allow the engine to start, which will allow us to do a compression test. See about the engine. We have a piston out. Alright, a pissy piston. So we will have to tear apart the top of the engine in order to get to said piston. And we're gonna need to replace that fuel rail. See if we, yeah, we already have one of those. What else? Manifold's good. Is the belt good? Looks questionable. Should be good. Shouldn't have replaced that so soon. As we need to drain it to pull off this water pump, which needs replacement. And the belt tensor also needs replaced. The belt, timing belt as well. Jeez. At least a lot of the problems are in the front. Means I don't have to tear too much else down in the back to get to them. And a spark plug, like we were seeing on that OBD meter earlier, or the electric meter. One of the two. Leave it at the OBD. Oh, BD. So it's that one on the far end. Oh, we'll just go ahead and lift this up. And go ahead and move this on over to B, use it, and move it on back. That's gonna need replaced as well. Finding a lot of shit that needs to be replaced. You have to replace that from above. Not sure why. Should be pulling out from here. I'm not going to put that 37 back on just to be safe. Since we are changing that oil, we can go ahead and change out the filter. I don't like to put in an old filter when changing new oil. Though with performance oil filters you could do it, but none of these cars are going to have that. Who could do it? Oh, there we go. Put in a new ring there as well. Oh, it looks like one of those caps was for the camshaft. Which itself is good. The cap is yeah. On the manifold. And spark plugs. Just got one of these we're going to need to replace with a new one, I believe. Yeah. And let's go ahead and add that because I don't want to put in aftermarket spark plugs when the other 3 on this side are all OEM. And timing. See if we have another. We do. Or that timing cover. Shaft. Water pump. It's gonna need to be replaced with a new one. Belt and belt. Go ahead and lift her up. And we could finish up with the caps down here and put that oil pan back on. And put on that same one. What's that knocking sound? That's what I'm concerned with. Out of all those parts, we should have come across it. If it was in the engine, that is. If it was not, it could be a lot of other things on this vehicle. Could be that wheel hub bearing. Let me see. A lot of times it'll be the cap, but this thing looks like it's pretty bad. I'm thinking it's the shock absorber. Shock absorber A. Nope, that's good. Even the cap was good. The engine bay part, that's getting me. That wheel hub bearing is good. This one also looked like it may need to be replaced, so let's check that out. Nope. Not that. Yeah, no. trouble finding out what that could be. It's not the bushing, is it? That is a very distinct possibility. That one's at 37, that one's at 40. That one we're not sure of, but it looks like new. And that one's good. Is this below 37? I'm just taking a guess here. They usually pop up with gear issues, so I don't think it is. Well, right at 37. And it's already been replaced. I don't know what I would find on the test. Could be that air filter cap. Look kind of rough. Let's go bring it down. Take a look at that real quick. That's a negative. It's at this point that I decided to refill the coolant fluid and the oil and take it to a test pad to try and find out what that elusive sound was coming from the engine bay. You know, it's weird. It's so weird. I don't roll A's missing. That's not cool. Anything else? Nope. Engine sputtering like it's still missing. I sincerely hope it's not a ring. If it were a ring, it would have told me on the crashing test. Got nothing there. That's a first. Noise in the engine compartment, test track, nothing. What? Or test path, nothing? I mean, what kind of sense does that make? What is this elusive noise that tearing apart the top of the engine didn't resolve? What the fuck? I mean, did I miss a cap? I have to question at this point. Here we are running over time again. No caps missed. Sway bars in question, but unlikely. Nope, not the sway bar. Took all those off. Rods are good. Really makes me question. It's not a brake issue. What could it be that the test path would not have came to the resolution for? Another any kind of scanner. Checked all those. All of them do check out. Clutch release bearing. Just came across that yesterday, or probably Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Especially since I'm pretty certain. No, I don't think I took the gearbox off on this. Otherwise, I definitely would have saw that. Now we just gotta put new oil on it, and it should be good to go. Not gonna be getting any time bonuses on this one. That was how long it took me to diagnose a clutch release bearing. 1,500. All right. Well, at this point, looking at the traffic here, not seeing too much. Sky looks relatively the same as it always does. And I will be calling this an end to the stream. I do appreciate you guys for watching. And if you did like this video, please feel free to leave a like. If you like to see more of this content, please feel free to subscribe. I do release a new video every week. I stream both Monday and Wednesday on Twitch from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. and Fridays on YouTube from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. And I do appreciate any commentation you have, whether that be negative or positive. And with that, everyone have a great